Hey guys and ladies, what's up? Today we have a video about my most carried knives. And after you guys watch this video, please, I would love to see a video response from you about the most carried or the most used knife in your collection. And it doesn't have to be three, it can be four, five, six, can be one, can be two, okay? This three just happens to be my most carried knives. Not my most used knife, but my most carried knife because I live in a big city and to be honest, there's not much use for these big knives other than some self-defense situation. And let's start with the basic specs of these three. Um, by a coincidence, all these three knives are frame locks. Okay, and it's not that I don't love the other locks, which I do. I love line locks. I love lock bags. I love button locks. I love axis locks. I love tab locks. I love all type of locks because I think each and every one of them have their own personality and it fits differently in different design. Uh, it just happened to be frame lock all the three, okay? And these two are tip up carry only. This is tip down carry only. Standoffs and back spacers, okay? Um, they are all over 3.5 inches long blades, so I guess I love carry larger knives, but none of them are over 4 inches. Excuse me. Anything over 4 inches for me, it's a little bit too heavy and a little bit too long. So anything under 4, anything above 3.5 inches long is my preferred carry type. And all these three knives, as you can see, are pretty slim. Um, they are all high performance knives, which means it cuts and it slices and it stabs better than some other knives with very thick blades. Okay, let's, for example, strider knives. They are very tough, tactical knives that can do almost everything. You can probably light prime with it or light chop with it. Uh, yeah, you can do it with all the three too, but you have a more chance of damaging your tip on these three knives because they all have pretty pointy and thin tips. Okay, um, pretty pointy and thin tips. Pretty pointy and thin tips. Okay, I love my knives to be able to cut, to slice, and to stab. That's my that's what I look into knives. Okay, all these three has that same character. It slices perfectly and it stabs perfectly. Uh, by perfect, I mean much easier than other knives. They are all very sharp. They all use extremely good steel. For example, this one uses S90V, which is it's one of my highest uh, edge retention knife. This one uses F30V, which is already been proven a very high quality steel. And this one is the CPM M4 steel, which is also a very high edge resistant steel. Okay, so on these two, I can probably cut it all day, or probably, well, I have never sharpened these three knives, so they are still hair whittling sharp. So they have been holding their edges forever. Okay, and what else? Let's talk about the knife and individually. Let's talk about this one, the Shirogorov Flipper. This is my most expensive production knife. I wouldn't call it production because I think it's kind of like a mid-tech, more of a mid-tech than production. A lot of the parts are custom made. A lot of designs are hand fitted, and the cost is very high. They cannot produce thousands and thousands of this knife, but they can. Spyderco can produce thousands and thousands of his military. So I wouldn't call this exactly a production knife. It's probably from mid-tech to custom. Okay, uh, this is a one-piece milled titanium clip with their all customized hardware. Steel insert here, has a cutout on the side of the lock bar, so the lockup will always be 50%, always. Um, it has a small tab inside. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if you can see it closed. Yeah, you can see it right there. Just a small tab inside. It's used as a lock bar stabilizer, so you cannot overextend this lock bar. It's flat grind and very pointy shape. I love this shape, and I just love it. I think it's very useful shape. Um, you can have a lot of control with this type of more straight line shape. It's not completely straight. It has a little bit of curve here, but it's mostly straight, and you get a lot of control with straighter lines. The pivot here, you see, it's two screw pivot. So there's one screw, and the ring here is just a tube. Okay, so this is a screw, and that is a screw, and both screws you can meet differently in different places. Let's say if you want the flipper to be a little bit tighter, you unscrew this a little bit and you screw this in a little bit, so the point where they meet moves a little bit more, and the blade will come out tighter. Let's say if you want the blade to be a little bit smoother, you unscrew this side a little bit and you screw in this screw a little bit, so the point that they meet will be a little bit to the right side, and the knife becomes more smoother. So in another word, you can fix the tension of the blade as you wish by fooling around with these two screws. Okay, which for me it's a genius design, and I love it. Blade center, of course, no movement. Everything is just perfect on this flipper. This is my favorite mid-tech flipper. Okay, everything is just fine. And here comes the second knife, which is the CRK Cruise Knives Amdam, which means boss. Full titanium slab of 4 scales, big pivot, perforated bronze washer, also perforated bronze washer to retain more grease, thumb stud opening only, and it has this O-ring, so when you open or close the knife, it's very quiet. Okay, it's very quiet and smooth. The newer I think it comes out with a smaller pivot, and I don't like it. I really love the look of this big pivot, and it also comes with a lock bar stabilizer, which is really ugly. I love this knife. The first design of this knife, there's no flaw. It's flawless. I don't know why Mr. Reeves would put a ugly thumb lock bar stabilizer there. Maybe because some people don't know how to use the knife, and they press the lock and then disengage the ball bearing, the ceramic ball bearing that's touching the blade tang. On this one, the titanium lock bar is not touching the blade tang. It's the there's a ceramic ball inside that's touching the blade tang. And it seems really late, but it's not. It's about 80%, which is the preferred touching. You can see how far it goes. Okay, so that's about 80%, and it hasn't moved ever since I bought the knife, so I don't think it will move anyways. Easy to open, easy to close. You can flick it. I mean, seriously, no problem. Open, close, open, close. You can open it slowly, close it slowly, or you can flick it. I mean, no flaw on this knife. Built like a tank. I have the Brad Southard backspacer here. He's not making this anymore. I was lucky to get for this one and the military, and well worth the money. It sticks out, so you get more traction in holding, and when in close position you get a tip here for glass breaker, which is also awesome. The grooves here gives the knife a lot of traction and at the same time good looks. Perfect design. One of my favorite production knives. It's not like the CRK, they don't make a lot of these knives too. I think I have read somewhere that they sell about 8,000 knives a year. 8,000 knives, it's very little for a knife company, because Spyderco probably sell 1,000 knife in one model. Okay, so 8,000 knives as a whole, it's just very little. Then comes the Spyderco Military. This is a frame lock military. Originally comes with the black scales, this one, and I have the tough thumbs pimped for me using the texture I borrowed from Kingdom Armory. David, he's the first one who used this texture, and he calls it the dragon skin. But he used it on titaniums, and this one is a dual color G10 scale that I had tough thumbs pick it up for me specifically. It's a blue and gray color, and I love it. The circle you see here, it has a big and small circle, and on top of that it's kind of like chipped surface, so it's not exactly smooth, and it looks really awesome because it's so symmetrical and so asymmetrical at the same time, and that's just look cool. And very nice touch, very well done. A thick slab of G10 here, probably a little bit thicker than the titanium, which is already thick also. It's a Spyderco Spidey opening, 4 inches long blade. This knife is long. I mean, seriously, it's big. Okay, the handle gives the knife a full ½ inch long when you hold it. I love this knife because it's the cheapest of these three. Shirogorov being the most expensive. It's the cheaper of these three, so I feel more confident or guilt-free when I abuse this one. Not that I abuse it, but just in case I have to abuse it, I'll feel less guilty abusing this. Center blade, brass outer, backspacer, steel lock, steel insert on frame lock here, and perfect centering, perfect everything on this knife. Only downside is tip down carry, which I don't really like, but on this knife works fine because it has this big purchase. So, and in combination of the Spidey hole, of course. If this knife is a flipper or a thumb stop, maybe I wouldn't love it that much, being a tip down, because I don't know. It's just the way when you pull it out of the pants and you can open the knife like really quick with your thumb, or you can open it really quick with a flick of your middle fingers. Of course, I didn't do it right that way, but I usually do it fine without the camera. And that's about it. These are all my three knives these are three knives that I carry the most. They all are distinctive, different in blade shape, different in carry way of carry, but they are all high performance knives. They are all meant to cut, meant to slice, and meant to stab. One thing I noticed though, this being the shortest of the bunch, 3.7 inches long blade, and this being the longest of the three, if you see here, you can see the blade on the Spyderco is a tiny bit longer, right? But if we line up the cutting surface. See, it's well aligned. I'm not cheating. You see that Shirogorov is actually a little bit, quite a bit longer in cutting length. So that's another reason I really love this knife. It's just so magical. Yeah, it is magic. So that's about it on my three knives. A quick shot, really quick, really quick. Really quick. Let me know what are your most carry knives. I'm dying to see them, and let me know why you love them so much. And is it the way it carries in the pocket? Is it the way it cuts? Is it the way it takes the abuse? Is it the way it looks? Is it the way it feels in your hand? The way it opens? The way it clicks? The way it sounds? The way I don't know. Okay. A lot of things to make you fall in love with a knife. What's not to love about these knives, right? Let me know in a video response. I promise you, I will watch it and I will comment it. Okay? And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and let me know if I can improve on my videos. Okay? And thanks again. See you around. See you next until next video. Okay? Bye bye.